Now, this is coming from a lot of people, so we will talk about this. That is, in fact, the beginning. So, what it means by namaste, and the moment we do namaste, what should be where the mind should be, feeling, and thought. So there is another word associated with this, is known as Mangalacharan. Mangal means auspiciousness, and Charan means feet. So how do we walk the path of the Eastern wisdom rightly and properly? This is normally taught in the beginning of a journey of the Eastern wisdom. No teacher, no teacher in the Eastern wisdom ever say that you are not a seeker. I used to travel for 6 hours driving my car Delhi to Rishikesh, and Master used to thank me. Oh, you have worked so hard. You have driven 6 hours. You are not going to be paid for anything. And you wanted to change yourself. So I must thank you. That was his humility. So gradually later on I realized, and he taught us that no teacher in the Eastern wisdom ever say that you are not a seeker, provided we have certain doubts, and when we invoke the principles to raise awareness what is blocking him or her. So what the teacher does, every teacher, even he is the or she is the greatest, they invoke the originator of Eastern wisdom. They claim that they do not have the knowledge, but they carry that knowledge from the tradition. So that helps the teacher also not to invite any reaction or wrath or anger sometime from the seekers. It comes, it's okay. So by this process, the teacher empties his mind. So that is what we talk about Mangalacharan. So this is Mangalacharan. Simple translation is that the moment we want to learn anything from the Eastern wisdom, we keep aside our ego. Keep it aside. Yeah, normal ego is required in personal, professional, social life. But here we say keep aside your ego. So these two words are used. One is Mangalacharan and other is namaste. You might have heard about the story I talked about, a professor of mindfulness. Many people also contact me. They have a tremendous intellectual knowledge about meditation and mindfulness. But whatever Eastern wisdom says, it must be acquired systematically as taught in the master and a disciple tradition. I can become a scholar and a professor if I acquire the knowledge from the books. Who wrote this? What Buddha says? Buddha says about mindfulness, which is different from what Shankara taught, what Patanjali taught. So here the teacher brings the integration. Teacher says that this practice, these steps are for one type of a seeker and these steps are for other type of a seeker. But when we talk to the scholar, they say no, mindfulness and meditation are different. So this professor welcomed a monk and started speaking about the meditation, mindfulness, principles and practices. The monk kept silence. and the monk was at the door. The professor forgot to invite him inside. Anyhow, monk said, "Can you invite me? Can I come inside the home to sit and talk?" You see what happens when we keep our ego. The professor invited the monk inside the home and offered him a tea. The monk said, "Let me prepare a tea for you." So he started pouring the tea into the cup from a kettle. Cup was full. He continued pouring the tea into the cup, and it overflowed into the plate, and from the plate it went down into the table, and from the table it went down onto the ground. Professor cried and said, "Oh monk, don't you know the cup is full? Even your eyes are open. You are pouring the tea in a cup that is already full." The monk stopped pouring the tea into a cup already overflowing, smiled and said, "No, Professor, you cannot add anything more into the cup when it is full. How can I pour the experiential knowledge of mindfulness into your mind when your mind is already full?" So it's a very famous story, we talk about it. When mind is already full, how can we have the knowledge of this Eastern wisdom? And after all, we always talk about this. Mindfulness is an objectless state of the mind. And we normally forget when we have a scholarly attitude, when we become a scholar. We gather the information from different sources. So any text and every text in the Eastern wisdom starts with these two things. Mangalacharan. Mangala means that I create an auspicious moment. How I create an auspicious moment? I keep aside the ego. And namaste. Namaste. My master used to send me in the Himalayas to different masters. No, go there, serve him, and learn from him. So I will just talk about this, what he talked about, namaste. What is the basic fact is that whenever we want to learn anything in the Eastern wisdom, our mind must be free. And only one thing is, you keep aside your ego. Ego has lot of thoughts and feeling, images, past impression. Mangalacharan is the way. As I just told you, it is walking the path properly and rightly. So what is auspicious moment? Auspicious moment, favorable, good, opportune, full of kindness in the mind. When auspicious moment is there, then the journey becomes easy, rewarding. Even meditation, your meditation may not be successful today, but you have started with an auspicious moment. The mind says, "No problem, I will do it again." You know how many people have joined and left? So not the power of auspicious moment we are aware of. No worries, if I fail today, I have to succeed tomorrow. Why? Because the real self is within me. I am searching within myself. It is in my power. So there is a subtle nature of the Mangalacharan. So how we follow that? By thought, by feeling, by action. So every time we sit for meditation, we should have a right thought, we should have a right feeling, we should have a right action. What is the right thought? The moment we join, you should have a thought that I'm seeking real self, nothing else. I want to know clearly what is this real self. I want to discover the real self. I want to know the exact nature of the world outside. Because we feel the problem and suffering comes from the world. So when I am aware of the exact nature of the world, the problems goes away. Now I know the nature. Nowadays today I have seen that it is 117 degree Fahrenheit temperature. Now if I keep talking about, it's so much heat, so why you live in Arizona? Go somewhere else. So there you'll find cold. So my mind should be able to accept the very nature of the world. Very nature of the world. Outside. Now you have a honey and who gets agitated on a small things. Now you have understood the nature of the world. What should you do? Mangalacharan. You create an auspicious moment. Every time. Every moment. That is what living in a moment is. Now, honey does not only mean a couple. I have already told you many a times. Honey means what you love, what you like. Your mind gets carried away by that object, that person, that thing. So that is how this Mangalacharan works. You see, Om Ganeshaya Namaha. So traditionally, habitually, now it has become a mechanical and a habitual practice. Everybody knows scholarly that when we say Om Ganeshaya Namaha, it creates an auspicious moment. But we don't feel it inside. Come on, honey, we have to pray. You don't understand. And then we say Om Ganeshaya Namaha. So I have not changed my attitude. What this mantra will do? Are you understanding what the mantra will do? You see, we have a lot of those things. So what these specific thoughts were converted into different mantras and verses to create an auspicious moment before doing any good work. So there are many ways to create this Mangalacharan or auspicious moment. Either you use the different verses. The way I begin, I get ready 10 or 15 minutes before and I start reflecting and contemplating about my master. That has been my it has become a habit. Oh, my master, I lived with him. Oh, what he taught me. Can I remind my mind what happened to me? How he got me rid of those challenges which I was facing when I was quite young. So like this, I'm just reminding myself my association with the master. Or sometime Ganeshaya Nama, or some mantra in the verses. It is always good to do that. Why? Only one thing, when you keep aside your ego consciously. So what happens? The mind becomes empty and then our meditation always succeeds. So this is Mangalacharan and Namaste. Another way of creating an auspicious moment is what we say, Namaste. So I was, when my master sent me to this master in the Himalayas, and we sat at his feet, he said, you see that when you join all the 5 fingers of the right and the left hand, so 5 fingers of the right hand are sense organs and 5 fingers of your left hand are motor organs. So become aware and start becoming aware of the space at the center of the palm. It is only the space. They do not touch. Do you see the center of the palm do not touch each other? So the real meaning of the Namaste is not me, not me. So every time we do Namaste, become aware, it is not me. It is not me. It is the real self. That me is the ego, and that space we remind ourselves, it is not me. It is not me. It is not me. So we try to make the mind aware by thought, by feeling, by awareness. by awareness. That mind is always eager to listen. That mind is always humble, aware, and attentive to listen. I remember a story. I want to buy real self. Shopkeeper said, "Are you ready to pay the price?" "Yes." "Give me all your fears, insecurities, comfort, and anxiety. I will give you the real self." The essence is that when we live with that ego, we have fears, we have insecurities, we want to live into comfort, we want to live into that anxiety. Ego comes with those fears and insecurities. Fear of insult and praise, fear of sickness and health, fear of losing the comfort, entering into anxiety. So that master said, "Give me your mind, rest is okay. I will find the real self for you." So when we do namaste, we bring the mind inside our heart within. We remember that real self, which is self-existent, that is self-luminous, and that is self-evident. So you see that we bring that state of the mind through our hands by Namaste Mudra. The word Namaste, if we find the meaning of in the Sanskrit language, Namaha, we say Namaha. So it means Na means not, and Mam means me, not mine. I am not. I am not. So what it means, if you go a little deeper, it means dissociation from the body, mind, and the sense organ. Why I am doing Namaste? Because I am of the nature of the real self. I am not body, I am not the mind. With that understanding, even you start thinking like this. Every time you do Namaste to everyone. Now sometimes we feel shy of doing Namaste. So do it mentally. In meditation, we do it mentally. The master says, no, you need not to do it physically, because when we start the meditation, we say, no, don't move the body, body should be still. Do it mentally. Offer yourself mentally, I'm not. So when you say I'm not, what is going to happen? When I am not, then the thoughts, feeling, fears, and anxiety associated with that I will also leave you. That is the actual meaning of Namaste and Mangalacharan. So now in that way, when you offer that I am not the body, mind, you remind yourself. Sometimes we say, no, what will happen by thinking? What will happen by thinking? So you are thinking bad about your honey. Within a couple of weeks, you create an image about your honey, and then you will react. So this Namaste, there are many verses, thought, feeling, and action. That is what constitutes Namaste. What I think about me is what we say. That is what the ego is. One great master, Ramakrishna Paramhans, he says there are two types of ego, ripe ego and unripe ego. So the unripe ego gets associated with the wealth, prestige, recognition, people, things outside. And what is right ego? I am the disciple of my master. That is how I used to say. I am devoted to find my real nature. I made a vow to live into calm and relax 24/7 today. These are the examples of the ripe ego. Another master used to explain that this namaste means not me, only you. So what is that you? I do namaste to you. So not you as a David, but you as an epitome of the real self. Not Stephen, as an epitome of the real self. So outside our communication also takes place, and inside my mind also changes. So this namaste helps us to get rid of from the clinging of the world. So once we release that clinging from the world, it helps us to change the mind for the best, to treat the path of the Eastern wisdom. Normally we have salutation and prostration. I used to prostrate my master. Prostration, you are aware of it, that you fall down physically in front of the master. You stretch your entire body, and through the 10 fingers you touch the feet of the master physically. I was doing for 3, 4, 5 years, and one day he said, "How long you have to do this?" Crazy guy. Now you should translate that into a mental level. You need not to do it physically. It is enough. You see that? So salutation can be done physically, mentally, emotionally. Goal is only one, to keep aside that ego. So when this me and mine is gone, what happens? The mind is ready to learn. It will absorb the knowledge and the practice with the right attitude, with the right thinking. That is the basic goal. It is not the goal that So I think I covered that a couple of times. We'll be adding this namaste and salutation at the mental level, and we will check, is the mind ready? Or do we keep the ego in abeyance during learning? During learning this path of Eastern wisdom. If you do not keep aside the ego, it blocks our learning. We do not learn properly. Why? Because this knowledge belongs to the world beyond. This knowledge pertains to that transcends body and the mind. So symbolically, starting with the thinking, and then we do it with mentally, and then what happens? It triggers the mind and moves into the auspicious moment. And when it moves into the auspicious moment, there is a natural state of one-pointedness that we covered in the very first talk, that we need to live into the fourth state of the mind to succeed in meditation. So all the 9 steps that we have covered before can be realized by the single step. So let us start our journey of meditation now. We are going to add this. I am mindful. Yes, now no noises. Their eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. Now our stage 1 will be mental namaste and keeping aside, or at least we start thinking. I have to keep aside my ego. We never think of it. We simply go into meditation habitually. So now we become more mindful and aware of it. Body is steady and the mind is facing within. You can mentally Visualize that you are in the namaste mudra. All the fingers of both the hands are joining, and then normally what happens, we will also do physically, I'll make you aware, or we can still. So now you visualize that both your thumb is gently pressing the center of your ribs. You are visualizing. Why the center of the chest? Why we press it? Mentally, the real self is there. Look inside the center of the palms. There is only a space. And now we think, feel, mentally act. So let us do it by thinking. I'll introduce certain mantras from the following sessions that I want to discover the real self. That real self is all-pervading. It is self-existent, it is self-evident, it is self-luminous, it is of the nature of permanent happiness, truth, love, wisdom, and bliss. Now check your mind. If it goes anywhere, mentally you are doing namaste in front of the rib cage, and bring the mind at the center of the palm into the space. And just, you may coin a thinking, just real self. We'll do it with a mantra that will make you more sense. We are in a state of doing nothing. Why namaste mudra? Not me. So when not me, so I'm not doing any action. Our ego, the doer, is associated with doing, with action. Understand the deeper import of this namaste and the Mangalacharan. Can you do this step one couple of times every day? Mentally. You need not to show it physically. I told you, my master said, how long you will be doing the physical prostration? Enough. So in that state, then we start with being comfortable. So being comfortable, looking at the neck joint. So we understood the power of awareness, alertness, and attention. So, feeling and experiencing sensation, comfort, and steadiness. That is not our goal. We have already done many sessions. Goal is something deeper, and then we enter into the space. And the same humility dawns into the mind. Now link it to the namaste, see that? Move the mind on the shoulder joints, be there, feel. What do we feel? Sensation, comfort, and oh, okay. It has to be there, but that's not my goal. It's a milestone. You move into the space, and from the space you move to the namaste again and again. Sensation, comfort. Look at the hip joint, be there, feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Then the space, and then the namaste. It's a mental namaste. Simply reminding, not me. As long as there are two, one, the real self, that is real me, is hiding behind the cover of the ego me. We have to get rid of one. How we get rid of the one using the same ego, very subtle ego. Here. What we do is the ego says namaste to you, the entire body. You need not to shy, just start thinking mentally and it will happen. So, the entire body. Sensation, comfort and steadiness. Namaste. Not me. Mentally you are aware, not me. It's not physical. Physical is just a symbolic expression. Being carefree. Being carefree. Being carefree. Thoughts, feelings, sensation. Now see again, in being carefree, there is a rule of namaste, not me. Any thought comes, not me. So not me and mine. So when this is not me and mine, definitely you are carefree. Just check it. You're doing it mentally. When some nail enters into your toes, you use the other nail to get rid of it. So one thought comes habitually, enters into your mind, the other thought, not me and mine. So when not me and mine, both these thought pattern dissolves. That is the actual meaning of let the thought come and go. You are carefree. And then comes being casual, natural, in the state of doing nothing. So what happens in the state of doing nothing? We are not the doer. When we are not the doer, the ego is kept aside in the journey. This is the, I would say, the format in the journey of the Eastern wisdom. And it takes long time for us to learn. 50% of the journey is done when we are able to keep aside that ego. And again in the stage 3 now. Stage 1 is Mangalacharan and Namaste. Stage 2 is being comfortable, carefree and casual. In stage 3, removing the 3 states of the mind by Nyasa. Today, let us first look inside the heart in the space and start breathing quick, short and gentle breath through both the nostrils. Continue. Quick, short and gentle breath through both the nostrils, keeping your awareness and attention deep inside the rib cage, my friends. And stop this. Start breathing deep, silent, slow. When we live into that auspicious moment, the mind cannot bring any resistance and reaction. That is another power of entering into an auspicious moment before doing it. Deep, silent, and slow. Breath is your car, remind yourself. Mind is the driver. Goal is Om Shanti. Moving on the highway means in the space. Why? We don't need any object of the world. Let us, with these points of awareness of the breath, mind, highway in the space inside, and the mantra. With the moment you inhale, move the mind inside the right arm from the shoulder to the fingertips in the space inside, reciting Om Shanti. Exhaling from the fingertips to the shoulder. Again in the space, saying Om Shanti with the meaning that Om is the real self. It is symbolic. Now when I have to talk to you, I address your name first. Same thing. I address the name of the real self, Om. Okay, I know Shanti. Now inside the left arm, that entering into an auspicious moment every time we start any journey of the Eastern wisdom. I told you the role is almost 50%. The rest is done by these steps. The mind is moving inside the left arm, in the space, dropping Om Shanti. And Om is the real self. Shanti is the peace. So what is going to happen? The mind is naturally driven deeper inside the heart. This multitasking will help you. Multitasking outside will not. So we say multitasking, there are many points of awareness. It also prevents laziness, sleepiness also. Now moving the mind inside the right leg. From the right side of the waist as you inhale, first point of awareness, mind is the driver, moving inside into the space, reaching to the toes, saying Om Shanti, returning. So you see that deep silent slow breath, one point of awareness, mind moving inside. Second point of awareness, awareness of the space. Third point of awareness, saying Om Shanti. Fourth point of awareness, body is in the state of comfort and steadiness. Fifth point of awareness. But awareness is only one. Mind breaks it into different parts. I must appreciate you all again. You see, there is a natural state of the steadiness and the stillness comes. How? Because of the mind has changed the direction. Now inside the left leg. The breath is rhythmic, deep, silent, and slow. Space, Om Shanti, continues. Now inside the spine, from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Breath is equal. Inhalation and exhalation. The mind descends down from the crown of the head to the tailbone, rises from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Om Shanti continues. What a beautiful state. Even maintaining or simple awareness of the steadiness in the body goes a long way. That shows the dissociation of the mind from the body. We break the barrier of ego. And leave this deep silence, slow breath, leave the Om Shanti also. Look at Look at the tip of the nose, check the flow of the nostrils is equal. That gives a clue that the mind is already living within. That is one way. And second way, look at the head and the neck outside. Sensation, relaxation, stillness. That is not our goal, but we want this. In the journey of meditation, yes, it is a milestone. And then look inside the head and the neck, be there. Stay there in the state of namaste, if I say so. So that leads to calmness and quietness. That is also a milestone. Our goal is to explore, experience, awaken to the real self. The right arm outside and the entire skin of the right arm. Sensation, relaxation, stillness. We are happy, we are good. Okay, sensation, relaxation, and stillness is there. But goal is totally deeper inside the right arm. Do you see that we make the flow, the mind inside? Flow outside, identification with the body, mind, world, objects, people, things. No association. Calmness and quietness inside. And looking inside the rib cage, center of the rib cage. Look at the left arm outside. So we are making sure that yes, we are following the right track. So our first milestone, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. In the right arm, inside, calmness and quietness. And then we find our natural awareness and attention goes inside the heart. Even if it is naturally, doesn't go. I'm saying it so you know, you become aware of it. The middle portion of the body, outside sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Inside, calmness and quietness. Right leg, outside. You know the milestone. Inside, you know it. Ultimately, the movement of the mind, this is what we say, one-pointedness of the mind. So you see the difference of one-pointedness or a focus in Eastern wisdom and in the modern psychology. We make an effort. Here, effortlessness has to be there. Move the mind on the left leg outside. You know it. Inside, you know it. Check the natural movement of the mind inside the heart and the space. So, because the mind always likes to do something consciously, if we allow the mind to do it, that would be a better option in meditation. So we pick up a point in the space, we see it clearly, we drop Shanto, I'm the peace. Peace in Eastern wisdom is a good space, infinite space. and then continue to move the mind to a second milestone. Deep inside, you see, and Shantoham. You'll find the mind drops Shantoham very softly and gently. The moment it drops, the mind becomes infinite, aware of the infinite space. It breaks the barrier of the body. How? You have an experience as if the body is not there. We need that experience to go deeper. It may happen by freezing, numbness, tingling, absence of body in the space. Lot of variety of experiences, colors in the visions, they also indicate. Point out, but journey is deeper. What is the nature, the shape and the form of a real self? There is no shape and the form. Why? Mind recognizes anything and everything in the world with a name, form, color, texture, feeling, temperature, etc. But the real self is beyond these attributes. It's a pure consciousness. The time may come as you continue to cross one milestone over the other, the mind will say no more. You are already there. At that moment, you need not to do anything. You cannot move further. It does not mean the mind has stopped. Mind merged into the real self. The day will come, that state will become irreversible. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Know your experiences after opening the eyes inside the palms. Bring your hands down. How are you, David?
I'm good. It was very, very deep. Partway through the breathing, I just dropped into this big open space, and then the next thing I noticed towards the end of it, my breath was very deep and slow.
That's wonderful. That's a good. We are progressing. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good. Immediately drawn to the heart center as I visualized the namaste. Was pretty much there the entire time. The one thing I do remember is when we finished the fast breathing, there was an explosion of white light when I stopped that. And then after that, I just fell back into this dark space and can't remember anything.
Beautiful. This is a better explosion. That is good. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, that was great. Probably very fast meditation. I felt like when you said multitasking, when you brought that up, that really resonated with me because we have the mind going in so many places and focusing on so many places, and so I was really aware of that today, and also mostly the space though, and then the space between the palms, the space inside, the space outside. And then when you had us drop
Shantoham,
that was like a ripple, just fast. It's really great.
Yeah, very deeper. You know by yourself. That is good. How are you, Kate?
Good, very deep. My legs fell asleep.
Leg fell.
My legs, so I didn't even feel them. I was in.
You're in. That's beautiful. Yes, that is what one should happen. And the time comes, maybe you have feeling of the spark of that consciousness inside. So what happens? From then onwards, it becomes an irreversible process. You are talking. Oh, still you see that, you feel that, you know that. That is what happens. How are you, Sam?
I'm good. I would say was able to drop into the deep meditation pretty much as soon as I closed my eyes, and I think there was a little bit of a turning point for me with the quick short breathing as well, where I ended up just feeling an expansion of everything, and just dropped down real deep into my heart center for the rest of the meditation.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Those who have been doing it for a long, it is showing definitely the result. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good. you've talked to us a lot about our real self being separate from our mind and our body. And today I experienced it again, but maybe in a new way with a sense of relief. Like, I'm so glad I'm not all this mess outside of me, And so then after that, it's like, okay, I was in it. So.
Beautiful. You rightly use the phrase, when we identify with the body and mind, we actually mess over life. Even we feel a short-term pleasure or pain. You rightly said. That's a wonderful. How are you, Terry?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I had a pretty good meditation.
Good.
I visualized a triangle a lot. I didn't do it on purpose, but
Yes, yes. Because of your past meditation practice.
yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it encompassed my whole body. Sometimes I saw a little one with a little real self me in the middle of it, and it would be in between my ribs, at the center of my ribs.
Yes, yes. I think it is working. Your previous experiences. We will introduce also that triangle meditation. Triangle that represents pointing upward is known as the Shiva, and every side of a triangle represents one attribute of the real self. That is what she did. So you see that your previous experiences of meditation also helps you what you have done. Beautiful, Terry. I cannot forget Terry, who it has been only 2 months in US, and when I met her and she took me to her office, she still is an expert, what I can say, graphic designer?
Book design.
Book designer.
Yes, graphic.
Now I have started writing the book, and you cannot do it. But anyhow, no problem.
Oh well.
You are doing it. So, Ashok, how are you? You appear and disappear. I could see beautiful lip movement, but we don't hear you.
Sorry, I can't. Namaste.
Namaste.
All good, sir?
All good, sir. Do you know that actors are very much trained to do the lip sync? Somebody else is singing and you're moving. Beautiful. Continue to grow. That is all for today. Thank you very much. We will meet again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. ठीक है अशोक
हाँ जी ठीक है अब